Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisseton, Illinois, with your thoughts for Thursday. Today I would like to talk to you about wisdom. Wouldn't it be great if we had an abundance of wisdom? James chapter 1 and verse 5 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all men liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him." You know, there's a tiny town in southwest Montana that is called Wisdom. Man, I would love to live there, wouldn't you? I'd love to soak in some of that. I sometimes feel like wisdom is something that is lacking in my daily diet. James says, if you lack wisdom, ask of God, who gives it liberally. I'm reminded of the Old Testament story of Solomon, whom, when the Lord said, "You're coming to reign over my people, what would you like?" And Solomon thought about it, and he said, you know what I would like the most? It would be wisdom, to be able to direct and judge your people. And God was so pleased with his answer that he said, because you have not asked for riches or long life or honor, I'll give you those things too, along with the wisdom. And we know the great wisdom that Solomon had. He was already a very wise man, apparently, whenever he said, I'm going to need your wisdom to rule over your people. But God says, whenever we lack wisdom, we can ask of him. Verse 6 says, we ask without wavering. We ask with great faith. You know, he who doubts is like that wave that's driven by the wind in every direction. So we ask God for wisdom, and we ask him in faith, and he gives it liberally. There may be some things that we ask from God that he gives in moderation because he knows that we can't take it very well. But wisdom is not one of those things. Riches and honor, he may be doling out in small doses because he knows they're not good for us. But wisdom he gives liberally. And perhaps this wisdom helps us deal with trials and temptations. That's what James talks about in the verses previous to this. A calm and a mature reaction to anything we face takes some wisdom. David mentions wisdom in his prayer for forgiveness and cleansing in Psalm 51. He says, "Behold, you desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part you will make me to know wisdom." Perhaps acknowledging our sin and asking for forgiveness ensures wisdom for those who are forgiven and those who are cleansed. And God gives wisdom liberally and without reproach. You know, the idea of without reproach means he isn't going to berate us for past failures or not using the wisdom he's given us before. Indiscretions, he's not going to criticize the use of it. When we ask for God's wisdom, he gives it liberally. And I don't know about you, but I need a pretty healthy dose of God's wisdom every day to face whatever I have coming at me.